old money, a term that conjures images of grand estates and generations of wealth. But beyond the glamour lies a darker story of hidden truths, power plays, monopolies, and secret societies. A story that has silently shaped our world's economy and politics. In a tale as old as time, the rich get richer, but at what cost? Let's dive deep into the stories that these old money dynasties hoped would remain buried. In the shadowy history of old money, the tales of monopolies stand as towering testaments to the influence and power wielded by a few. The saga begins with the Standard Oil Company, an empire built by John D. Rockefeller. This wasn't just a company, it was a behemoth that commanded 90% of the oil industry. Standard Oil's dominance was through a strategy that included aggressive business tactics like undercutting prices, securing secret rebates, and employing predatory practices against any who dared to compete. This monopoly didn't just control oil, it controlled people's lives, from the price they paid for kerosene to the wages of the workers in the oil fields. The influence of monopolies extended beyond oil. Andrew Carnegie's steel company reshaped the steel industry. By owning every aspect of production, from the mines to the mills, Carnegie Steel didn't just lead the market, it was the market. The climax of this tale of power comes with the response to these monopolies. Public outcry and government action led to landmark antitrust laws like the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. This act wasn't just legislation, it was a societal statement, a recognition of the need for checks and balances in a free market. In this realm, money doesn't just talk, it dictates. The monopolies of the Gilded Age, like Standard Oil and Carnegie Steel, didn't limit themselves to economic dominance. They ventured boldly into the political arena, leveraging their vast wealth to shape legislation and sway political leaders. Lobbying was an arsenal used to fortify their interests and protect their empires. Their influence was wielded through strategic donations, personal connections, and occasionally less savory means. These moguls influenced policies that directly affected their industries, from tariff laws to labor regulations, leaving their imprint on legislative pages. Turning to the DuPont, their legacy in gunpowder and chemicals positioned them uniquely during times of war. They significantly influenced defense policies and military procurement decisions, leveraging their industrial might to sway defense contracts and legislation in their favor. The decisions made in the halls of power had real consequences, affecting everything from worker rights to consumer protections. As we delve into the stories and strategies of these powerful families and individuals, we see a pattern emerge, one where wealth accumulates power and power, in turn, protects wealth. This cycle of influence wasn't just a feature of the past, it's a phenomenon that continues to resonate in our current political landscape. Companies like Carnegie Steel and Standard Oil were not just economic powerhouses, they were also workplaces with questionable labor practices. The quest for profit often led to poor working conditions, low wages, and a stark disregard for worker safety. These practices sparked significant labor movements and strikes, highlighting the growing tension between the industrial elite and the working class. Another moral question arises from the tactics employed by these monopolies to maintain their dominance. Practices like predatory pricing, market manipulation, and hostile takeovers were not just aggressive business strategies. They raised serious ethical concerns about fairness and competition. The impact of these practices went beyond the boardroom, affecting small businesses, consumers, and the overall health of the economy. The influence of old money in politics also raises questions about democracy and fairness. The ability of wealthy individuals and families to shape policy and legislation to their advantage highlights a disparity in political influence that challenges the principles of a democratic society. Furthermore, The environmental impact of these monopolies cannot be ignored. The pursuit of industrial expansion often led to significant environmental degradation, with little regard for sustainability or ecological consequences. This raises questions about the ethical responsibilities of large corporations towards the environment and future generations. The world of old money is not just one of opulence and power. It is also a stage for deep-seated rivalries and conflicts that have shaped historical narratives. One of the most iconic rivalries in the realm of old money is between the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. This clash of titans in the oil and steel industries, respectively, was not just a competition for market dominance, but also a battle of ideologies and visions for America's industrial future. Their rivalry extended beyond business, influencing cultural, educational, and philanthropic endeavors, each trying to leave a more lasting legacy than the other. Another historical conflict of note is the battle between the old money families and emerging labor movements. As industrial magnates amassed wealth and power, they often found themselves at odds with the growing demands for fair wages and safe working conditions. Strikes and labor protests against companies like Carnegie Steel highlighted the increasing tensions between the wealthy elite and the working class, leading to significant social and political shifts. In the banking sector, the rivalry between J.P. Morgan and other banking magnates shaped the financial landscape of the early 20th century. These conflicts were not just about financial supremacy, but also about the control of monetary policies and the direction of the American economy. These historical conflicts and rivalries reveal a world where wealth and power were constantly contested, shaping not just the fortunes of these families, but also the course of history. The narrative of old money often weaves through the shadowy and intriguing world of secret societies and exclusive networks. These clandestine organizations, often associated with the world's wealthiest and most influential families, have fueled theories and speculations about their role in global affairs. Secret societies like the Freemasons and the Skull and Bones have become legendary for their exclusivity and the secrecy surrounding their rituals and membership. Members of these societies often come from influential backgrounds, including prominent old money families. The allure of these societies lies in their perceived influence. It is believed that the connections and networks formed within these groups can impact political decisions, business deals, and even international relations. The Bilderberg Group, a more modern example, is an annual conference that brings together some of the world's most powerful figures in politics, business, and media. While its stated purpose is to foster dialogue between Europe and North America, the confidential nature of its discussions has sparked numerous theories about its influence on global politics and economics. These societies and networks are often seen as the meeting points of power and privilege, where decisions affecting millions can be influenced by a select few. The secrecy that shrouds these organizations only adds to the mystique and the theories about their role in shaping the world. While concrete evidence of their influence is often elusive, the very idea of their existence raises questions about transparency, democracy, and the distribution of power in our global society. The legacy of old money is a complex one. It is a story of innovation and progress, yet also of exploitation and ethical dilemmas. It reminds us that wealth and influence, while capable of fostering great advancements, can also lead to significant imbalances and injustices. As we reflect on this legacy, we are prompted to think critically about the world we live in today. The influence of old money may have evolved, but the questions it raises about wealth, power, and equity are as relevant as ever. It challenges us to consider how we, as a society, can learn from the past to create a more equitable and just future. The story of old money is a reminder that the decisions we make today, as individuals and as a collective, will shape the legacies we leave for future generations. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hidden corridors of wealth and power. May this exploration inspire us to think deeper and strive for a world where wealth serves not just the few, but the betterment of all.